You can't have everything, but you can have everything that is meant for you. When it comes to having an abundant mindset, abundance isn't just, it's not money, abundant in love, abundant in everything. And I like to even say that, like in this room, like I can find an abundance of everything. And even if you're around, like be like, wow, there's an abundance of people, there's an abundance of buildings, there's an abundance of everything. If you set your mind to see that, there starts to become this piece of like, okay, wait a minute, maybe there isn't this scarcity, maybe there is more. And again, I know it might sound silly, but changing your mindset for little things like that and being able to be like, wow, there's a lot out there, there's a lot of everything, starts to change everything.
Whether you're looking for inspiration, guidance, or simply a moment of reflection, you're in the right place. This is Wisdom Stripes. Hello and welcome to Wisdom Stripes. My name is Meg Tuohey, and today's episode is all about unlocking potential, developing unstoppable habits, and rising to the top in business and life. Our guest today is Adonis Bjornson, an entrepreneur, mindset coach, and performance strategist who has built a reputation for helping people break through their limitations and unlock their highest potential. Adonis has transformed his own life from overcoming adversity to achieving success in the business world, and now he teaches others how to do the same. With a background in high-level fitness training and leadership, Adonis has worked with entrepreneurs, athletes, and high performers to help them master their mindset and build habits that lead to sustainable success. His unique approach blends personal development, discipline, and mental toughness to create lasting transformations. Today, we're going to dive into Adonis's journey, how he built his business, how he overcame obstacles, and how his mindset has led to his continued growth and success. I'm thrilled to welcome Adonis to today's episode. This is Wisdom Stripes, your no-nonsense, fierce fairy godparents, helping you break through your barriers and rise to the top in all aspects of life. Adonis, we always start with the same question for our guests. What wisdom would you like a listener to come away with today?
Believe in yourself with everything that you have. Be so delusional. Like I like to say, Delulu is the solulu. And you have to believe in yourself so incredibly, immensely. Absolutely.
Delulu is the solulu.
Yes, Delulu is the solulu.
I am in. I'm already into this entire conversation. Yeah. Delulu is the solulu.
Delulu is the solulu. Yeah, the solution is to be as delusional as you can. You need to be, because I like to think about 3D reality is kind of an illusion to an extent. Like that's the illusion where being delusional is you choosing the path that you want to take rather than what society has put out there for you, or family, parents, anyone like that. Delulu is a solulu.
That has a ring to it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, let's operationalize Delulu.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Any goal that you have, even if it's simple as you want to be in a relationship, you have to think about how you want to be in that relationship, what the relationship's going to look like, the love that you want to have and the love that you want to give in the relationship. And again, a lot of times we kind of don't know where to start. And I'll use it like the great example. When we were kids, we would pretend. We would use our imagination. We would pretend we're the superhero, the whatever character type it would be. And that's the same thing. When we're being delusional, we're stepping into already, okay, what if it is done? What if I'm doing exactly this now? How would I be? How would I start acting? Because the problem is, like, if you're going to set a goal right here now, how would I say it? You can't be the same frequency now that that's going to have the goal. You have to be a completely different version of you to that extent, you know?
I totally get that.
So if you, with any goal, being delusional, if you think you have done it already, and again, like, let me think of, let's say in a year, you want to start a great business after a year's time, be really profitable. Think even beyond that. Think 3 years, 5 years. Imagine, hey, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm the best of the best of what I do. How would I be? How would I act? Again, I could take it to so many different levels of it, but yeah.
I feel like what I would like to poke around in is the idea of the delusion of self is is a skill set that you can use.
Absolutely.
It is the antithesis of most of the self-help. I understand on a level what it is you're telling me, but could you spell it out for me? Spell out for me how being delusional about yourself serves you.
100%. I'm going to try to be as technical as I can here, but even some of like the neuroscience of it, I would say like the brain science of it, your mind has a filtration system on everything that's going on. You know what I mean? If you set it to be focusing on negative things, it's going to see that. Again, if we go Delulu in a good way, it's going to be looking for that as well. And that would be the first step. If you, for any goal, you're priming it like, hey, I want to do this. I want to accomplish this. I'm going to see abundance in everything that I'm doing here and there. Your brain has no choice but to do that. I mean, you're telling it to do that. That's how it's set up. You know, and the more that you do that too, the neuroplasticity of it, the more you change a habit, the more you focus in on those goals and do anything, even if it's something really minuscule towards a goal, the brain is making new connections within that. So, I mean, even from just that point, the science behind it, it is all there. And that's where it gets really fascinating, because it's like, for me, I like that the most, thinking, okay, like my brain's responding. This is scientific. If I really focus in on it, my mind has no choice but to kind of obey the way I want things to go, my thoughts to that degree, you know?
Yeah, it's like the strongest frame wins.
Yes.
If you put your beautiful,
100%.
Where you point your beautiful brain really matters.
100%. Even one thing I like to say to a lot of clients when we start working is, what's the dominant thoughts that you have right now? That's the most important thing. What is your actual dominant thoughts about reality, about yourself and everything? And I'm going to take it to another extreme here. With Delulu as a solulu, you don't want to just think about yourself. You want to be thinking, okay, what is your worldly views? What is your, it could be religious, political, like your views on people, you know what I mean? And to the degree of, if you're starting a business, but you believe, oh my gosh, oh, the economy's so bad right now. Oh, everyone's depressed. Everyone hates this. Everyone's this or that way. You're already now having assumptions that are against you. You know what I mean? Like, you got to like think to the absolute most minute details on everything. Okay. No, people are so happy. This is the best time it's ever been. 2025, best year ever. The economy's good. Like, I know it might sound silly, but things like that will change the whole pattern of your mind and the way you go about things, and just feeling more positive in general.
I agree with that. I'd like to do a thing called the yeah buts.
Yeah.
So this is the listener yeah butting you,
Yes,
right?
yes, of course.
Yeah, but Adonis, you don't understand.
Yep.
I'm crippled with real life constrictions. I can't afford eggs. I can't pay my mortgage. I am trying to do these things, but the reality is the economic climate is not what it used to be. It isn't a good time to start a business. I'm already behind.
100%.
Help us with the yeah buts.
I love this question. This is probably the most common question, especially when I'm starting out with clients. I'm going to get right into it. The most difficult part of this and the most difficult answer, but it is the best answer, is even in that, you have to put the blinders on. You can't focus on it. You have to become delusional again. And again, I'm like my best student, because I have to take this advice for myself daily, because there's so many things that I have going on, different struggles, different stressors, and there's times I can fall quickly into the temptation. I call it temptation because being negative, focusing on the 3D, woe is me, my life is terrible, my life is unfair, everyone's evil, everyone's this, it's not fair, crying out like that, it's actually a temptation, because it feels good. It feels good to, I would say, give ourselves excuses. And there's some things, yes, there's some things that are unfair, and there's some challenges that people are facing. But even in that, one other practical tip I'll give, and I do this a lot, is I will think about someone having a lot worse situation than me. And there's a lot of times, I could be driving or doing something, and instantly I'll see a homeless person on the street really bad off. And I'm like, well, there you go. There's my answer. I could look at what they're going through. I could be in their shoes to that degree. And then I'm going to take it to another extreme. Even they could look, okay, I'm really down and out, but oh my gosh, there's someone worse. There could always be a worse circumstance. But even in that mindset, you don't know if that person is like, hey, I'm really happy, I'm content with it, this or that. So I know I'm kind of all over the place here with it, but I'm going to backtrack to that question on it, where if you can focus in on something good in that moment. Hey, you can't afford eggs, but hey, at least you got bread. Hey, I can't afford eggs, but at least I got running water. Hey, I can't afford this, but hey, let me take a nice hot shower. Let me do something. If you can change the pattern of negativity to focus on something good, it changes everything. And again, I'm going to take it to the extreme again about Delulu is the solulu. If you can get out of your own way, out of who you even are, your identity. Well, you don't understand. I came from this childhood like this, and I was abused in this, and I'm this person. Like, stop being that person. Just pretend for 1 minute. Take away the responsibilities. Take away the feeling of being human the way it is now, and just go, you know what? I'm going to play. I'm going to pretend. You know, maybe I don't have all this stuff. Maybe things aren't as bad. Maybe I'm actually just a superhero, like a Clark Kent. Superman is Superman, but actually his superhero in a way, or his alter ego, is being Clark Kent to that degree. And it's very interesting, like being just a regular human is his alter ego to that degree, where most superheroes, it's like, no, they were a regular like human being first, and then they became super. So again, it's kind of like flipping that over. Stop thinking about the negativity and just have a moment where you can be like, let me play out if things were really good. It can be tough for sure, but
I want to add to the idea and see if this fits your philosophy.
100%.
What it feels like is that there is truth, that the economic climate is different than it was 5 years ago.
For sure.
So we can agree.
100%.
And if we add to your philosophy, you do want to do fiscally responsible choices.
100%.
You want to go into the problem, create a solution, and then stop thinking about the problem and start building your way towards
100%.
something different.
100%. Absolutely. And that's just what you're saying there is so true. And a lot of people don't talk about it, where no matter what, things are changing. It's always changing. Change is the only constant that there is. And I think a lot of people don't like that. And I understand it, because there is, like, I feel like my parents' generation, they had a longer gap of no change. You know what I mean? The big time from there. I mean, yes, there could be certain things and big social things that happen, but economically things were kind of the same for a very long time. We're in the last decade to 5 years, things have been pretty crazy. But on that regard, like what you're saying, you got to be responsible within things, but you got to be prepared as much as possible. You know, my wife the other night said, one of my best talents or skills, she said, is she called it like a chameleon, where I can constantly change to the environment. And I've always been like that, where I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's change. And that goes, I'm going to go back to Delulu again. If you're having a bad day and a bad moment, what is the point of staying in that place? Just before this, I was sitting out in my backyard having a cigar, and I was thinking about a few things that was really stressing me out. And I just started sitting there like this, and I was thinking, and I was like, and then I'm like, what? I'm living in this moment. I'm literally sitting here, not physically being in the now, but in my mind, thinking out this scenario. And I'm like, stop. What? Like, why am I giving light to this story that I don't want? That's not even existing, but it's existing in my mind. And I'm like, no. Just stop. Let's go do something else. Let me put that amount of energy into anything else. And I think that is so crucial, again, is if we're in a moment where we're fixating on a future that doesn't exist yet, and it's negative, you got to do everything you can to get yourself out of that.
You do.
You do.
And we could also add, it sounds like, that you can spend a minute or two sketching out what your solution would be should that come to rise.
Yes, 100%.
And then what you want to do is not let your beautiful brain go back and ruminate.
Yes.
What you want to do is say, we've already written our plan.
100%.
So now we're going this way.
100%.
It's about guiding the brain.
Yes, 100%. I will say this too. Never talked about this, but maybe one of the best advice I could give is, if you are, like, anyone's going through something hard, and we all have different levels of hard. And I even like to say this too. I don't want to ever undermine someone's challenges or hardness. But for me, the worst parts of my life actually set me up for where I am now. If I didn't go through the hard parts, like the sleepless nights, the tears, the fighting, the anger, the pain, like if I didn't go through those tough times, I wouldn't be here. So I look back and I'm like, the tough times were the greatest blessing I could have. That's like, if you are down and out and things are tough, to a degree, you can be like, hey, this is my beginning. This is my beginning story of becoming the superhero. This is my first villain. This is my first thing I have to overcome. And when you do that, there's something so amazing and so beautiful in that. And a lot of times you can see maybe there was a huge disappointment and you go, why did this have to happen? A few months later, maybe even it takes a year later, a beautiful flower, something amazing comes out of that seed and you go, wow, that actually had to happen. I see why that happened now. And that has happened to me so many times where I'm so upset about something and I'm like, wow, that had to happen. I couldn't even see that. God was in control of that one. I couldn't even see that happening. That was pretty wild. So, there's just no reason to not be Delulu. It's going to make you feel better. It gives you the power, and then you can kind of play around with everything within that. Be like, okay, I can change this, you know?
Well, I think what I'm hearing is it turns something that's rigid into something that's malleable.
Yes.
And then when something's malleable, it's much easier to imagine a different reality, which therefore you can start, if you can dream it, you can do it, right?
100%.
You can start to build your way out.
Absolutely. And that's something really big is what you said there is a lot of people think, well, I can't. Oh, how come they do it? I wish I could do it. I can't do it. We almost to any degree, all of us have the capability to do incredible things. I've really seen that. You know, I came from nothing to being very average to the things I've done. I'm even like, sometimes like, wow, this is pretty incredible. You know, but if I could, like, anyone can really do miraculous things. But it's changing the mindset. I heard this today that when people are really jealous or kind of hateful of someone's success or someone who's really rich, let's say rich people, like, it's not right that they're rich, they shouldn't be. When you feel that, you're telling your subconscious mind, it's not safe to be rich, it's not good to be rich, it's bad. You are completely putting this wall up from you being successful or having abundance because you're believing that it's bad by feeling this jealousy, feeling hatred towards anything. I'll tell you, that has stopped me a lot of times in the past. I would be very jealous of someone, whatever it may be, they could have done whatever it was. There's times where people, like when I really was into powerlifting, I'd see certain guys they had like a natural gift of they were so strong. I'm like, that wouldn't be fair. Oh, I want to do this or that. And it would hinder me. It would make me feel then that a certain amount of weight, like that weight was heavy, that weight had power over me. Instead of being like, hey, I'm really happy for that person, that's awesome. If they can do it, I bet you I could do it too. And give that a try. If you change that even today, if you see anyone's success and you go, I'm genuinely happy that they're getting that. If they're getting that, I bet you I could do that too. Now the mind is like, okay, I think we could do this. But the second that wall is up of like, oh, that's not fair. That's not right. They shouldn't be able to have that. Now your mind is like,
well, you're in defense posture.
You're in defense. Yes, exactly. You're in that defense mode of money is bad. Oh, this is bad. Whatever it is. We got to be able to see the good and be happy for others within that. And even on that too, just real quick, I'll say, when it comes to having an abundant mindset, abundance isn't just, it's not money, abundant in love, abundant in everything. And I like to even say that, like in this room, like I can find an abundance of everything. And even if you're around, like be like, wow, there's an abundance of people. There's an abundance of buildings. There's an abundance of everything. If you set your mind to see that, there starts to become this piece of like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe there isn't this scarcity. Maybe there is more. And again, I know it might sound silly, but changing your mindset for little things like that and being able to be like, wow, there's a lot out there. There's a lot of everything. It starts to change everything. Instead of, because I work with a lot of goddess clients, my female clients, but I call them goddess clients. And there's a lot where they're like, oh, my friends are getting married. This person's getting married. I need to get married. I need to have a kid. Like they're always stressed out about it. I'm like, hey, let's change it up again. Be happy. That's awesome your friends are. That's awesome everyone's getting this or that. Your time will come. Be so happy for them. Again, change it. There's an abundance. There's an abundance of love out there. There's an abundance for you out there. But changing that mindset to be happy for everyone else, it really does wonders.
It's like a secret sauce that allows you to expand the possibilities for yourself instead of containing yourself, which is what the fear does.
Yes.
Fear is that space of, I can't have it, so why should you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it's like, well, actually, I'm happy for you. And then
Yeah.
we sort of open.
Yes.
When we open, we recognize all things come to me that is for me. Nothing will pass me by that's not for me.
Yep.
And I get to explore my life on my terms, knowing that everything is going to work itself out.
100%. I heard this really great quote. I wish I thought of it, but I didn't. It was so good. It's, you can't have everything, but you can have everything that is meant for you. And that was like, when I was like, wow, that's really good.
That's really nice.
That's really nice. Because then again, it's you're happy for others. Maybe there's certain things that just aren't meant for you, and you can be so happy for them on that. You know, and it's like, but everything that's meant for you, if your heart is open to it and your mind's open to it, it's going to you. Absolutely. I always think about that. I'm like, yes, that one is really good.
I love that. I watched a reel this morning, and I almost never remember quotes, but I remember this one. It was Jacob Elordi, and he said his dad's advice to him was, love many, trust few, and always paddle your own canoe.
I like that. That is good.
Let's
That's
unpack.
Good. Yeah, that's really cool. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that 100%. You want to, like we were saying, is love, be as happy as you can for so many. When it does come to trust, and I think like this, you know, this isn't a limiting belief when I say this. It's, you just want to be careful on what you say to people. You know what I mean? In a good way. There's always that saying, oh, don't say your dreams to everybody. Be careful what you say and stuff like that. And that is really true. It truly is. You want to be careful within that, because there's going to be certain people that if they're just not at the right place, if they're not mentally happy or their heart isn't happy, they might be, oh, I don't like that. Again, they could be, the jealousy is there, and then that's a seed of doubt in your mind, if you will. You know what I mean? So yeah, within that, I'm very, very loving. I love people. I love like putting myself out there for sure, but I definitely feel like my heart, I guess you would say, like my true core, I definitely keep a tight inner circle. And I think it's really good too. And I think it's very healthy too. And even on that regard, I think it's really good to do things alone. Like I do a lot of things alone. You know, my wife is my best friend. Absolutely. And my dogs would be like second on that. But I really like to do things alone a lot of times. And I really like my company. I think that's something really sad is people don't like to be alone. And they feel like this hatred to almost be just with themselves. And there's times I'm like, oh, I could be in the middle of nowhere and just be chilling with me and just be in the moment and just enjoy, you know what I mean? And I think that's so important. Probably more than anything is you got to love yourself. You got to be happy with who you are, because you're stuck with yourself. You're with yourself and you are incredible in every way, you know? And I think a lot of people, maybe they don't like themselves is because of things of the past, or they feel, again, they might not know themselves. They know themselves from what society is telling them who they are, rather than they themselves telling them who they are. And to the last part with it, row your own canoe. I'm a huge believer in that with my business. And people always laugh at this. Like, oh my gosh, how do you do it? I truly do every aspect of my business. Like my wife will help me a little bit, but I do everything. And I've always been that way. I always like to do as much as I can with anything that I'm going to do. I feel like especially if it's something with me, I want it to be so organically me and stuff. And I'm not saying it's bad if someone has a team or however, like everyone has to do teach their own type of thing. But the more that you can have full ownership, and not ownership like actual physical, I'm saying ownership in your mind. Like if you can own every problem and you can own every success in the extent, that's the best thing. You know what I mean? You want to, I would say the first part, owning every problem, owning every mistake, owning every failure, being accountable, one of the most important things that you can do. Truly is.
Hey there, Meg Tuohey here with a quick and exciting announcement. As a psychologist, coach, and founder of the Wisdom Lab, I've had the privilege of helping thousands of individuals break free from the vicious cycles holding them back and tap into their infinite inner wisdom. If you're tired of feeling unheard, unseen, and stuck in the same old struggles, the Wisdom Lab is the breakthrough you've been yearning for. This on-demand program guides you through a powerful process to shatter emotional barriers, overcome deep-rooted blocks, and experience the profound transformation you deserve. In just 4 hours, you'll gain the tools and insights to revolutionize your life from the inside out. Want to learn more? Click or tap the link in the show notes for all the details. Okay, now back to the episode. I want to circle back to the quote, the Jacob Elordi dad quote.
Yeah.
Mr. Elordi.
Love it.
The love many, trust few.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like oftentimes those two things are conflated. And what I loved about Jacob Elordi's dad's quote is the separation of those two, which is don't conflate loving someone with trusting them.
Yes.
It feels like another way to talk about boundaries.
Yeah.
And so putting in proper gates of people in terms of how close they come, even though you love them.
100%.
Can we talk about that?
100%. That's just popped in my mind with that. And I like kind of the example I have of this is I love nature. I love all animals. You know what I mean? Even like love great white sharks, love the ocean. But I'm not going to be like, hey, let me pet this great white. I trust this shark. I can love it. But like I can also know, be cautious, be aware. You can love somebody and be kind without giving your heart again and again and again and again and spilling the beans, if you will, to everybody. Oh, let me tell you my whole life story. Let me trust you with it. It's in this day and age, it's very good to go slow when you're meeting someone new, even if you know, like you need to go slow within things. I think our world is so instant, where everyone thinks, oh my gosh, this has to happen like this, that. I think now more than ever, it's so good to slow it down. And I would say, especially like when it comes to relationships. But yeah, I really think that approach, love many, love as much as you can, but it's not so much be guarded. It's just be aware. You have to be aware of certain situations. And like I said, the animal kingdom is beautiful, and I love all animals. I'm a huge advocate for animals, but I also know there's some that could destroy me. So I'm like, you know what I mean? You got to have that judgment there. Absolutely. And I'm not saying that people are like that. Like it's having that awareness to be like, okay, I got to protect myself. I got to take my time. And I'll say this too. You can love somebody and have them be a close friend. They don't have to be the closest. Like there can be different levels to like, hey, I feel comfortable talking about this to this person. Maybe a little bit more to this person, maybe a little bit less to this person. You know what I mean? Even like with my parents, I speak to them differently and tell different things versus my friends. You know, I would say, I mean, I feel like it's like an obvious thing, but like with my wife, she's the only one that really maybe knows me, like me. Like everyone knows me, but like she knows 110% of me. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. And then I think it's really important to have part of you that is just known to you. Maybe she might know 120% of me, but I know 1,000% of me, if you will. You know what I mean? Like I'm using a facetious example on it, but I think it's very important to keep part of you that is just to you. You know what I mean? Even if it's just a little bit. I think there's a safety net in that and something beautiful.
I think there's some safety in that. And I also think about the idea that your beautiful wife wasn't with you for the first 10, 20, 40 years of your life.
Yeah.
And there's all of that time without her. And plausibly, there'll be a time at the other end of your life without her.
Of course.
Absolutely. You're the only one that goes with yourself the whole way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think people, they don't realize that it's, again, what I was saying earlier, you got to love yourself. You got to be okay with yourself. You do have to. You know, there's people in my life that were really close that I've lost and they've gone on to the next life, whatever there will be. But they have left like an impact on me. So that's kind of cool. There's like part of them is still living within me as well. You know what I mean? Which is very, very unique and very, very cool way to look at it. Absolutely. So it's the biggest thing within all of this to anyone that is listening is you got to really start to know yourself. That's when I say, to go all the way back again, when I say Delulu is a solulu, it's truly you. It's not, no one else can put the delusion for you. No one else can do that. You have to believe it. You know, and that's why I always go back to when I was a kid, I played and pretended so much, 24/7. My mom was so great about this, where she would just, I had so many action figures and I had pretend swords, and I constantly was pretending, and I can still remember that and feel that. And I'm so, like, even now I can do that where I can just, hey, I need to be this. I need to act like this. Let's do it. Let's just be it. Act as if it's completely done. And it makes a huge difference. Yeah.
All right. We're going to do the third part of Mr. Alordi Senior's quote, which is always paddle your own canoe. And when I thought about this, an idea came to my mind. I wanted to see it as the way that you don't assume someone else is going to get you where you want to go, that you got to actually paddle your own canoe. And sometimes you might make an alliance. Sometimes you might get a helping push or shove in your canoe. But ultimately, your life is your canoe, and no one's going to paddle it for you. And there is no shortcut. There is no one that's coming to save you. You're in your canoe, and you're going to go through the conditions you're going through.
100%.
You think?
100. Yeah, absolutely. The accountability. It goes back to that. You got to have that accountability within everything. And I'm a huge proponent of that. It's like the success, it has to be on me. I can, sometimes I can be maybe, maybe my ego in a good way or a bad way, however you want to see it. But I really like to be, I got to be in control. Because at least if I fail and make a mistake, it's on me. But if I let someone else handle my life and be in control of my life, if they fail, I had no choice if they fail or succeed with it. And that, to me, that's kind of scary, because then it's like you really, it's not in your own hands. You know what I mean? And there's just something about when you get your hands dirty, when you're the one doing it, when you're the one living your life, you're living your life. You're going to build, you're going to become more of you again and again and again. I think in this day and age, there's so many people that don't know who they are because they're not doing the canoe. They don't even know sometimes who's in control. Now that's a scary place to be in, where you don't even know who's paddling the canoe or who's in control of it. And I think there's a lot of people there that live that way, where they don't know what life they're living.
I want to add another idea of the canoe. I feel like sometimes, and I see this a lot in both my work and in this podcast world, where it's like, oh, if I can just get, this CEO on my podcast, then everything's going to open, and that person's going to see me, and then I'm going to be propelled, and I'm going to go have this whole experience. And I feel like that if you're always paddling your own canoe, you might really enjoy meeting that CEO or whoever, but you are making your own canoe. Like, you're driving your own canoe. You don't need that person to do something for you. You're not pinning your hopes on that person recognizing some brilliance in you and saving 100%. You or short-circuiting you. Although you might have experiences of things changing because of that experience. I'm not saying that wouldn't happen. I like the philosophy, though, that is the guiding principle, which is you are in charge of your vessel. You build your own thing, and you turn yourself into a commodity that is valuable. 100%. Don't rely on other people to spot your potential and make you into something. You only 100%. Have yourself.
100%, I agree with that. Because even in that, I want to add there is that a lot of times if we think someone or something is going to complete us or really get us there, I'll tell you, I have had huge success. I've done huge things that I thought, oh my gosh, when I finally get this thing or experience this thing, life is going to be so good. It's cool for a day, maybe a week, a month. And then it's like, wow, this isn't it's not that special anymore. And I'm going to say, I'm so grateful for my life. I love it. I'm so grateful for it. But it's so interesting. People don't realize the things, the accomplishments aren't going to make you happy if you're not just happy enjoying the journey. And I've been the most miserable. I'll tell you, I have been the most miserable probably in the last year, being the most successful I've ever been, because there was so much pressure on myself to be more and to need more and to feel more and all this more. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm so obsessed with the outcome. I'm not trying to, I need to enjoy the journey. So do the whole canoe part. If you're in control of the canoe, you can control the pace. You can also stop to go fishing or to look at the sunrise or the sunset on the lake. So there you go. You gotta slow down. You gotta enjoy the journey. I'll tell you, because there's nothing worse than being successful and not and realizing, oh my gosh, I need more. I don't even know who I am. I don't know what's going on. You lose yourself and you lose the reason you even did it in the first place sometimes. No one really talks about that. And it's something that, like I said, it affected me in the last year. And I finally was like, whoa, I'm so concerned about the outcome. I'm like, I got to just get back to the flow of enjoying each and every day.
It's like I'm in a canoe. I can go fishing.
Yes, 100%.
Yes, how shocking.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I don't have to just paddle in a direction.
Yes.
Although I can.
Yes.
I can also pull over to the bank.
Yep.
I can also throw out a line.
Yes, exactly.
How about that?
Yeah.
Always paddle your own canoe.
Always, because then you're in control of it and then enjoy. I would say to that whole, it was amazing what he said there, but I would add to that, enjoy the ride, the canoe ride, because it's so important. It goes by really fast.
How about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't understand. My canoe, I'm getting wet in it. You don't understand. It's cold on this lake. I need to work really hard to get a jacket. I've got to go save up to make myself safe. Yeah, but you don't understand. I'm in this experience and your canoe isn't taking on water, but mine is.
Dude, I love it. One thing I will say to whoever would say that, there's sometimes I give the tough love into it, is even on that, think about what you're saying. Even in the pain, in the worst moments, is it really bad, or are you choosing it to be bad again and again?
Or you're just uncomfortable.
Or you're just uncomfortable, yeah, for that moment,
Yeah.
I think to myself when I was saying about the success, like a Robin Williams, who was so great, so successful.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, and look at what happened to him. Look at how, there's people we think, oh my gosh, they have it all. Oh my gosh, if I only had what they had. But you don't know what they're going through in here. And that's, again, because I've known people that truly have nothing, but they are so content, so content. That's what I said. There was a point in my life when my wife and I, we had nothing. We lived off grid up in North Idaho and had nothing, truly nothing. And there was days that were just so nice, zero responsibility other than, hey, got to grow our vegetables, chop wood to keep the house warm in the winter. And that was it. And there was something so beautiful and so peaceful about that, to not have to worry about anything. And that's what I'm saying. We had nothing, truly nothing. If we made 10 grand a year, we were like, that's amazing. We're rich off of $10,000 a year that we would make just from selling vegetables at the farmer's market. But it was so peaceful. So it's, again, that mindset. If someone's saying, but this, but that, there has to be a point where you look at yourself in the mirror and you just say, stop, stop. Enough is enough. I can't keep dwelling and living and worrying and giving in to the 3D moment again and again and again. I'll say real quick, looking from a manifestation standpoint on it, what we assume and what we keep affirming in our mind again and again and again, it has to become that. And our mind has no other choice but to give us what we are fully assuming and believing about reality to that degree. So it's there's times it might take a little bit to catch up if we keep saying again and again. I have a lot of clients that will start out, they'll try to be good for a few days and oh my gosh, it's not working. I don't see anything changing. Well, for the last 20, 30, 40 years, your subconscious has been saying terrible, terrible, terrible things. It might take you a little bit for your subconscious to be okay, I think I can trust what you're saying here. Let's start to focus on this.
I love that. So it does sound like you've come a long way from the days where $10,000 in a year was a lot.
Yeah.
Could you paint us a picture about what your life looks like now so we get to know you a little bit more?
Absolutely. So right now I go nonstop. I love what I do. I'm obsessed with it. I have so many clients. And the biggest thing, I'm messaging back and forth with them each and every day. I visualize for them. I do calls with my clients. My day is nonstop, but I love it. Like, I'm obsessed with it. Where, like I said, it used to be very like lackadaisical and stuff like that. But now it's like I have to try to schedule in time to relax. Or maybe the only time I really relax and watch a little TV is if I have dinner or something like that. Just like maybe 15, 20 minutes to relax. I know that sounds crazy, but I really love what I do. And I think that's a big part of it. And when you're obsessed with something in a good way,
it's not work, right?
It's not work. Yeah, it helps. So.
It's just your interest.
Yeah, it's your interest. Exactly. 100%. Absolutely.
I understand.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. Like I said earlier, even when lived off grid, making 10 grand a year, that was the stepping stone. That was the foundation. I had a mentor back then at the time. It's really, he was truly like a mountain man wizard, like that lived close there. And he really taught me a lot when it comes to manifestation and a lot of things on that. But just even the whole being there, like the whole presence of that place and that timeline, that time really molded who I was now. So it's very interesting. If you look at your life in that long linear perspective, it's like, oh my gosh, all these things had to happen when they had to happen, which is so like, really interesting, So I feel like it's kind of a continuum of like where it started, if that kind of makes sense. I look at it sometimes like that for sure. Yeah.
What do you think propelled you from a life so different to what you're living now, where you had a job to do, which was to chop wood and make sure you had some vegetables? And I don't mean to make that overly simplified.
No, of course it really, but it really was.
But at the level of that simplicity to the level of complexity, what was the decision point to change? What was the drive?
It's really interesting. So I'll say a few things. I can be very impulsive in a good way, and I like to experience different things. Before I did the whole vegetables and everything there and lived off grid, I was living at San Diego when I was really young, like just out of high school with my dad. And that was one of my first major manifestations. I remember watching this Mountain Man movie with my dad. It was like a mountain man in the 1800s. And I'm like, I want to do that. My dad's like, you can't. That's not, no one does that. I'm like, no, like, I want to do that. I want to live like barbarically, like how they did in the 1800s like that. And I can always remember saying, I'm going to find a way to do that. Years and years later, I met my wife, the right circumstances, everything, the way things played out, that's what happened. And it was so cool looking back where it was like, that was like a character that I was in a sense. Like it really was just a timeline. Like, hey, I'm going to be this for a little while. I didn't know what was going to happen after, but it's, again, one thing led to another. I wanted to experience more and I wanted to do more, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. And again, I never try to worry about the how. I just let it kind of flow in a sense. But opportunity, that's the word I'll use. When opportunity knocks, you have a choice. Like that's the only person I'm answering the door for is opportunity almost every time, because I think opportunity shows up more often than we can imagine, but we say no to it because we're afraid. Don't quote me on this perfectly here, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that our mind, we're either, I think it's like 3 to 5 times more we'd rather not take a risk than take it. Like our brain is wired to give more dopamine and serotonin. But like, again, I might not be saying this perfectly on it, but we get more rewarded from our mind not doing something and being afraid of it than taking the risk.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Even going off grid, everything, like my wife and I, everything we did was a risk. And we really were like, let's do it. If this is like, let's kick the hornet's nest again and again and again. And every time it has paid off every time. And now I'm very much into take the risk on things. You got it. I mean, there really is nothing to lose. I've seen people start over again and again and again. And if something fails, you learn from it and you go with it again and take the risk. It really is worth it.
So now my next question is around going back in time to being a child and recognizing that mountain man on a TV show, or was it in a book?
It was a movie.
It was a movie. Yeah. And you recognize that part of yourself and you said to your dad, I want to do that. And your dad was like, no, nobody does that. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
My question is, do you feel like you saw something that was going to happen and you just resonated with it and you made it happen because it was always going to happen? Or do you feel like you got the idea and then did the thing? Because I feel like they're different tones.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that one would be like the first one you said there. I resonated with it, and I just can't explain it. And I think it's not an intuition. It's different than intuition. It's just there's certain people, certain things, certain places, certain experiences that your soul just aligns to, and like you're just like, there's something here. I need, like, there's some reason to it, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, other than there is something that is so aligned to your soul, and when you feel that, you got to do it. Because, like I said, there's certain hobbies I like that other people want, and there's other people that I know that are obsessed and in love with what they do or who they're, or whatever it may be, and I can't see it, but that's because it's not my soul's purpose or my soul's path there. You know what I mean? So I think it's really interesting. Now, it's very different because when you said an idea versus like kind of seeing an idea and going, oh, I'm going to run with that. I think that's really cool. That's more of like a cool creation way, because there's a lot of times I'll see an idea. I'm like, that would be cool. Let me put my spin on it. And then it's a different feeling from the heart, because that's more of a creation. I don't know. At least that's how I'd kind of see it, you know?
I had a mentor years ago who's still now a dear friend.
Awesome.
And he used to say, you don't dream of something that doesn't belong to you. So I've never dreamt of being a cherry farmer.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
It's not something I have, but there'll be people out there that are like, oh my gosh, they
love that.
I would love a cherry tree on my property and I could homestead it, for example.
Yes, absolutely.
But that's not my dream.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
I like watching homesteading videos on Instagram.
Yeah, that's cool. But
I'm not a person. I'm not a
Yeah.
person that's going to do that. Just like I've never dreamt of flying a jet.
Yeah.
I've never dreamt of being a cruise ship director.
Yeah.
I've never thought of those things, but they belong to other people.
Yeah.
Those dreams.
100%. Yeah.
And I just feel like you recognize your own dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. I would just say too, real quick to that, it's so interesting as I feel there's also, I call it like a timeline again, where you just might be into something for a season, but it's not a forever. It's like I will look back. My wife and I have some pictures, some videos when we were building our house and doing this stuff, and I'm like, how? Like I can kind of remember, but I don't know that version of me. I don't even know. I was like relaxed, but I was so tense and different and just very rough and rugged, and it was very different. And I look back and I'm like, I don't know how. But then even who I am, there's certain places, I think sometimes we feel we get to hang on to something, and it's like, it's okay to let that version go or let it evolve into a different energy, which is crucial.
And I think sometimes when you're making something, because you made something from nothing, which is often how we all start.
Yeah.
You make, and maybe actually everything is something from nothing because it didn't exist till you made it.
Yeah. Yep.
But sometimes you have to be really resourceful. Yeah. And you can manifest, you can turn water into wine in a way because you have to.
You have to, yeah, absolutely.
And so you can do things that when you look back on, you're like, A plus B does not equal C. How did that just happen?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. I've seen it happens a lot with him, and you look back like, wow, how did I do that?
How did I do that?
I don't know, you got to give yourself enough grace for the day to get through, because it's like I said, there's always, like, you just don't know what is in store for you. You don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's the best thing, is just to kind of let it flow. Because like I said, if I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I would have analyzed everything, I'm like, I couldn't have done. I had to just do it one day at a time and just be it and see what happens, you know?
Yeah, I love that.
Even now, it's like that same thing. You got to go one day at a time within it.
Curious minds want to know.
Yeah.
You've done all of this work, all of this thought leadership, because you are now doing the work that you've walked through.
Yeah.
I understand the human experience is such that we never get it done.
Yeah.
And we're always working on something.
Yeah.
So what are you working on right now? What's your frontier that you're working through, you're trying to figure out, the problem or the question that you have that you're trying to answer?
It might sound strange. I feel like I'm very, very successful, extremely. And I know that. I recognize that. I'm very, very blessed and successful. But this might sound really weird. I'm still personally, I still feel in the place where I want to be in the growing season, if that makes sense. And I want to be careful recommending this or how I'm going to say this, but there's times like Delulu, solulu, I will be like, oh my gosh, I'm the best. I've been on ever. Like I'll just pretend I'm the most known ever, the greatest manifestation mentor, however you want to say it. But I think it's really good too. I recommend everyone do that. But there's times I also like to be like, what if I'm starting from scratch? Let me get that, like that term, like the underdog, that dog in me. Let me get that fight and that drive back as if it's just the beginning. And again, I'm very careful in that because I'm never manifesting to start that. I just want to get that mindset back that it's like, nope, let's keep going. Let's go more and more and more.
I think I understand what you're saying, because there is a piece of the human experience that when you've got it, you become complacent.
Yes.
And when you're complacent, you're a bit loose, you're a bit floppy, and you're not laser focused. Moving mountains, making something which your future self will look back on and say, how did you do that?
Yes, yes.
There's a level of discomfort or risk or need that is part of the magical equation of creation.
100%. 100%. Yeah. I love that you said that there, because not enough people talk about that in this here, that there's a season. I really, everything in nature, everything in our universe, every aspect of reality has to go up and down. You cannot just keep going up. You can't. You have to go up and down. And I like to even think about, like, there's a few shows that I love to binge watch again and again and again. And the whole season or the episode it's not always exciting. There has to be, you had a great action scene or whatever, now you got to chill it down a little bit and you got to slow, and you have to build things in everything, in seasons. Like even like biblically, there's a season for this, season for, like, everything is about ups and downs. And I think that's the thing. There can be times, because I've even seen this, where you have huge success and it's going. But then there's a point where it does plateau. And that's a whole nother level where you got to wait and for your next wave, if you will, you know what I mean? To keep going. And I think so many people don't understand that, or they don't get that life is that. And maybe there's a universal law just to that there is going to be a season for everything, and things go in seasons. And that's why I even say, enjoy it all. Enjoy the highs, enjoy the lows, enjoy all of it. One thing I'll say, when my wife and I lived off grid in winter, there was nothing to do. We had a generator. I wired a whole solar electric system to where I could have I had a PlayStation 2 and an old Nintendo 64, and we'd play in the winter. And I turned the generator on, and we would just do nothing. We would just watch old 80s movies or play video games just all day. Because if you're snowed in, there's nowhere to go. No one was coming to get us. There was nowhere to go. I mean, I'm not saying it's like in Alaska, but where we were was very much like that. But it was so nice to have the downtime like that, because then when summer came, from the moment the sun came up till going down, it was work, chopping wood, preparing for winter, doing the garden, doing whatever needed to be done. So there was a joy in those very boring long winter days. And I try to remember that even now, just to even have that throughout your day. Your day doesn't always have to be, let me scroll, I got to see I got to see a better video. And I think our world is conditioning all of us to, oh my God, to swipe. I got to see a better video. I need another dopamine hit. I need more dopamine. I need to feel this. It's okay to have a break from things and take your time within things. I think that's what we all need.
I think that's so profound. I feel like it is uncomfortable for humans to sit in quiet or stillness.
Yeah.
There is a sense of, this is slightly threatening.
Yeah. Yes.
There's an intolerance of vulnerability, of being alone or being quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's the conditioning, the change in how things has been is very strange. It is. I think the more you're aware, that's going to be it'll help you a lot to, anyone listening, to get out of that place, to be like, okay, am I, just what you're saying, they're constantly having to be entertained or to check something or do something. It is really nice just to be like, I'm just going to relax. I'm just going to chill. Or even try to make a conversation with a stranger. Do something shocked. It's like it used to be normal like that, but something out of the norm. It's kind of nice just to be, hey, I don't need to always be looking down at the phone or pretending. I know. There's times I've been around people or groups, like if you're in an elevator and people just pretend to like look at their phone or like down because they don't want to like make eye contact. And I don't know, I get it, but I'm also like, oh, come on, it's okay. You know?
I do know.
Yeah.
It's maybe a lost art or an art that we're losing is the art of connection, the art of belonging to
100%.
Strangers.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
We get a little bit smaller, a little bit more insulated.
Yeah.
Sometimes I watch people driving around and I think you're in your own little bubbles and we never meet. We don't
we never do. Yeah.
connect. We don't
people,
commune.
Yeah. It's really interesting. You say that, like, this is kind of like a double-edged sword here, but it's, people always say, hey, no one is ever looking at you. No one cares. Like, film, do whatever you want in public. Like, just no one's really looking at you, which is great. It is true. Like, be you. But the double-edged sword is that, like, people sometimes are just like this. They're just so locked into their phone or just they don't see anything else going around. And it's kind of weird because it's like, again, life is so beautiful. It's nice to see everything and kind of like take your time and examine and stuff like that. It's really cool.
Yeah. I wonder if there's room or perhaps a challenge we might issue for listeners who feel called to this challenge.
Yeah.
Perhaps to try a evening free of screens.
Yeah.
Or even an hour free of screens where you are doing nothing for nobody.
Yeah.
You're just existing.
Absolutely.
And maybe watch the discomfort as it comes up.
See how you feel. Yes, absolutely. It's really good to do that. It's funny you say that because I actually will, I'll go out to Red Rock here in Vegas and I'll this has been almost like late at night, I'll do some work out there. I'll be answering some messages, but I'll give myself like 15 minutes of just turn the cars off, everything's silent. I'll just kind of sit out there and just watch, look at the sky and just not think, just be in that moment and just kind of hear the wind. Like it's very profound when you stop and enjoy the moment and you feel, what's the temperature feel like? Is there wind? What does it sound like? What does this surrounding look like? So many times we've like lost our senses, or we're just so focused in on one thing. And a lot like it's the phone, and then in our mind, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? I got to do this. It's nice to just take it to relax. With a lot of my clients, that's something I've seen in a lot of people, and it can be all ages, 20-year-olds, 30, 40, 50, even 60, where people have become like restless. It's like it just that they need a constant, like, I need, this has to be fixed now. I gotta know, I gotta get the answer. I gotta get this now. And it's like, you got, like, no, it's okay. It's okay to let things like wait a little bit, chill. You gotta be able to relax. And there's almost this level of, like, it's beyond instant gratification. It's just strange. It's like this, I don't want to say impulsiveness, but it's very different. It's like people like just have lost, what I'm going to call it? The pace of being a human.
They have.
Yeah, they've lost that pace, the rhythm of just being a human and enjoying the day and enjoying things.
In the year 2000, I started work in a corporate setting. I got a graduate role and I was living in Sydney and I thought I was the bee's knees. Yeah. And there was email back then, but it wasn't particularly well used and websites weren't a big deal. Yeah. And the payroll of the organization that I sat on the same floor as still used a fax machine.
Oh, that's great.
Right?
That's
so cool. They had that combination. And in the year 2000, and for that first 5 to 10 years of my corporate career, it was all about efficiencies.
Yeah.
And I look back at that now, 25 years later, and what we have done to the workforce is make them more efficient. And we're still trying to do that with AI now. We're trying to actually take people out because of the humanness of the pace that humans are supposed to go at, essentially.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
So it's this systemic cultural shift over a long period of time to do things better and faster.
Yeah.
And it's not just the last 25 years. We could look at the Industrial Revolution. We could look at all kinds of things when we finally figured out wheels and steam trains and train tracks and how do we do things faster.
Yeah.
We just can't seem to help ourselves. But what we don't do is we don't give ourselves back time to be.
Yeah.
We now say, well, you should have a side hustle.
Yeah.
You should have a portfolio career.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Right?
Yes,
We should be doing all the things all the time.
Yeah.
There is a lost art of being.
Yes, there is 100%. Yeah.
And all of us are a bit complicit in that.
Yeah.
And so it begs the question, why do we want to give that up? And maybe it's because we're a little uncomfortable in the being.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't all have done it.
Yeah, that's what, you're spot on with everything there. I saw this to the point within that I saw this social media post where it showed like people living in the 1600s, 1700s maybe had, they said, I think it was like 2,500 thoughts or worries of the day, where now we have 35,000. Like, and I'm like, that's a huge, that's bad.
That's
almost
a
like
lot
10
of
times.
stress.
Yeah, a lot more. Yeah.
But we have a lot more input.
Yeah.
And we have a lot more exposure to the world.
Yeah.
We're not waiting weeks for a letter to arrive.
Yes, yeah.
Via horseback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what you said there, and that's something so crucial.
Yeah.
Everyone listening, we were not meant to a degree to know all that we know. We weren't. You know, if this was even 100 years ago, you would know what's going on in your town, maybe your county, maybe your state, or wherever you are. That's about it. Or maybe a little bit of worldwide knowledge. But now it's constant fear and suffering. Oh, this country and this person said this. Well, no, they didn't know that. I mean, it's a bazillion problems being put on you that, I'm not trying to sound bad when I say this, but truly have nothing to do with you. Realistically, most problems of the world, like of certain things, just don't have much to do with you. You know what I mean? Or if they are being solved, but I truly believe they're being put out there to keep us in this mindset of, oh my gosh, I got to go, fear. I got to do something to make it happen, rather than, hey, let's relax. It's going to be okay. You know? Because I tell this to people say, oh my gosh, should I prepare for this? No, what happens with this or that? I'm like, you know, there's going to be a point when you have your own personal doomsday. If a disease or something bad happens just to you, that's your, like, Armageddon, your doomsday. You don't need something to happen to the world for it to, like, you got to make sure you're taking care of yourself and not stressing too much on things like that.
Because that Armageddon for each person, it comes.
It comes, yeah.
It always really comes. We don't know when, we don't know how, and we don't know for how long you'll be in that state.
And there can be multiple throughout life.
They sure can.
Absolutely. So that's why one of the first steps I tell everybody is really try to, like, hone in what you're doing and what you're listening to. Because even, like, I was going to say this earlier when you said about you wouldn't want to be like a cherry farmer. Like, it doesn't resonate. Is the problem now is there is an limitless amount of opinions or ideas for you to do. And that's the problem. That, like, oh, I want to do this. Well, then you'll have 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000 people say, no, don't do that. I don't like that. Oh, you shouldn't do that.
Well, the algorithm will bring you a whole lot of things
that you don't
and
even.
And then you'll be in that paralysis.
Yes. Yep. And that's why it's so important. If you want to do something, you believe in something and you're resonating with it, you got to be focused on it. Be very, very focused and be very careful who you tell about your dreams on it.
I think I've seen that wisdom before, which is like, just build it and then reveal it.
Yes. Absolutely. Because and funny on that is, even sometimes when you reveal it, even when you have the success, you're still going to have people like, nope, that's not good. Or you're going to, no matter what, you're going to have opinions on things. So it's best that you build yourself up and stay within. Delulu is a solulu, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but also if we go back to the love many, trust few. So if you're going to get a whole lot of feedback, if you trust few, you're going to really be thoughtful about what feedback you pick up.
Yes, 100%. Absolutely.
Mr. Alordi Sr. really nailed that one.
Spot on. Absolutely. 100%. I love that.
I love it too.
Yeah.
All right. We're reaching the end of our time together. We have one last big question for you.
Yeah.
What last piece of wisdom would you like to leave us with today? Now that we're all friends, we're all in relaxed mode, we've got our feet up, we're in our cozy slippers, we're all understanding Delulu, we're agreeing that it's the solulu. What last thing should we finish talking about?
I would say, no matter what's happening, find the joy in the moment. even if it's something devastating. Because there's times I think to myself, I've had loved ones or even my dogs in the past like that have passed on, and I would give anything to go back. Like I was busy in the moment, or I was focusing on something. I didn't want to, especially my dogs, I didn't want to play with them. And I thought, there's something more important. I'd give anything to go back and just be like, you know what? I can relax a little bit. Enjoy this moment. No matter what's going on, there's someone in your life that you love deeply, or something that you can enjoy. And if you can find joy in every single moment, life will truly be the gift that it is.
I love that. Thank you so much. What
Absolutely.
A beautiful place to end.
Thank you. Absolutely. It was awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I guess the things that you love are the things that light you up in the same way as you don't
100%.
Dream of things that don't belong to you.
100%.
Yeah?
Absolutely. 100%.
I wonder about that.
Absolutely. You know, even as simple as there's times I am so grateful and so blessed to have a good cup of coffee.
Oh, that's a
And just
nice feeling.
Sit in a chair and taste it and just be like,
I know.
this is so nice. Even my wife will always say, sometimes at night she'll be like, you know what? I'm so grateful to have a hot shower. Because when we lived off grid, there was a few years we had no hot shower. We had a bag of water outside that we would shower with, and we didn't have hot water for years. Yeah. So now when we take a nice shower, it's like, I can remember those days not having that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little things like that.
It's nice to have that perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And to anchor yourself into more of the minutiae of the day.
Yeah.
Rather than those bigger global worries or ruminations or concerns.
Yes, absolutely.
We drop into, oh my gosh, I'm supported by this chair.
Yes, and it feels good. Yes,
I'm here.
absolutely.
Yeah, and 100%. I'm here with a new friend talking about really interesting things. Absolutely. I'm just right here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Love it.
Amazing. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. It was awesome. Thank you.
It was really fun. I'd like to thank Adonis Bjornson for joining me today on Wisdom Stripes. In today's episode, we explored Adonis's journey from overcoming obstacles to becoming a top-tier mindset coach and performance strategist. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an update. You can connect with Adonis on Instagram at Adonis_Bjornson. Or visit manifestwithadonis.com to learn more about his work. Thank you for listening to another episode of Wisdom Stripes. I hope you gained a little wisdom today. My name is Meg Tuohey, and this is Wisdom Stripes. Thank you for listening to this episode of Wisdom Stripes. Follow me on @MegTuoheyOfficial and leave a comment and review. I'm looking forward to meeting you here next time on Wisdom Stripes.